It's great to be here again today, and I will share some of the same comments a couple of the other coaches made. In the 8 years I'd been at Nebraska Kearney and now the 2 years at Colorado Mesa, this conference has had some major changes, and I think a lot of that goes to the credit goes to the coaches. I think it goes to the administrators and the universities, but also to the young men that are playing in this conference. I can remember back when I first came to this conference at Nebraska Kearney, it was a very rare occasion that the RMAC won games outside of the conference. Now you take a look at it, we've got some teams that can compete with anybody in the nation, and I think last year, again, with Pueblo being number one for a while, I think that speaks tremendously well. For us at Colorado Mesa, we have high expectations this year. I think there was a lot of transition through last year, and I think that the greatest thing that I can say is the leadership that we have had shown through the football team, and you'll get a chance, some of you get a chance to visit with these four young men later on here today. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Winning is a lot more than just talent on the field. It comes from the heart, it comes from leadership, it comes from within, and we've got some young men that are truly quality players, and they have a tremendous work ethic, and honestly, it's that work ethic that I'm excited about. I want to share a couple things. We've had a couple changes up at Colorado Mesa in the last year. One of them, certainly just recently, Tom Spicer has come over as our athletic director from Colorado Mines. Tom has had a tremendous career, and so trust me, in the short time he's been there, I'm probably more excited about him being there than anybody else in the country and stuff. I just love having a chance to visit with Tom and to work with him, and so I think that his vision is similar to the president of our university, which has full expectation of us being a nationally competitive team. I think there's also been a couple changes on our staff that are significant to note. We lost an outstanding coach in Coach O'Boyle, who went back to Southern Illinois, basically to coach closer to home and at 1AA. The individual we brought in there, Mike Chavez. Mike is a person that is very familiar to me. He'd coached the offensive line for me at Black Hills State. He was with me at Southeast Missouri, and so there's a tremendous connection there, both in the expectations of our football team and the style and the things that we believe in. And so I think we're going to have a tremendous addition there. The other one is Tanner Tatral. Now, Tanner's a young man that was a two-time All-American playing at Black Hills State. He had basically been GAing at Shadron. We tried to get him to come down when I came down a year ago. We didn't have a full-time position. At this point we did. We finally got that position recommitted, and so basically now we do have him down there, and he is an outstanding coach in both the secondary and the special teams. Now, we start to take a look at the football team and stuff. Obviously, one of the things is going to be looking at the schedule, non-conference schedule. One of the things we're kind of excited about is the opportunity to open at home this year against Menlo College out of California. Last year we had a couple of tough road games right out of the gate. This year we get a chance to kind of showcase some things right at home. And then we go on the road to play Montana State, who's been in the semifinals of the 1AA playoffs the last couple of years before we get into our conference. I think those two games are going to give us a great indicator of what kind of football team we're going to be. And then as far as the team itself, a couple of things. I'm going to start with special teams. I think we've got the finest long snapper and one of the best punters in the nation in Jake Edmiston and Mike Brady. Those two guys, in the years I've been coaching, have a great combination, and I truly hope we don't have to utilize them very much this year. Our kicker is going to be one that is going to be a mystery because that's truly a position that's open. We'll find out here in the next couple of weeks how that's going to unfold. But the other thing is we made great strides last year during the course of the year in basically our coverage and in our return schemes, which is going to be a big part for us because I think we have some very dangerous individuals that will compete for our top return spot and give us a chance to have some game breakers and playmakers in that area. Then as we move on into the other areas, defensively, Coach Auer will flat tell you that in his 20-plus years of coaching at Shadron State, and I will say this, in my 35-plus years of coaching, I don't know that I've ever had an individual as smart as Jake Edmiston being a player that is truly a coach on the field. He is a guy that he understands everything that everybody's doing, led the conference in tackles last year. Quite honestly, I expect him to be the best defensive player in the conference this year. And that he is an outstanding player, and we have high expectations for him, and I think his expectations even exceed ours. I think we'll also have another young man at the linebacker spot that transferred in that really came on for us in spring football. Mark Palacios has given us some depth there and another playmaker. He'll also be playing some defensive end at times. So we're going to have a couple guys there that will, I think, help us be a better defensive football team. In our secondary, I think our secondary is going to be extremely strong. We've got a couple guys there that started for us last year that are here, Mike Brady and Travis McCray. Those two guys, both very smart, very intelligent players, and very good football players. They'll basically start at our safety spots for us. At the corner, Jordan Price is a returning starter. A couple years ago, Jordan was a freshman of the year. We've also had a young man transfer in from the University of Nebraska-Kearney, Ryan Lindrum, that was a 2-year starter there at Nebraska-Kearney at corner. Ryan will be coming out of spring as a starter for us there. So honestly, I think our secondary will be a very strong part of our defensive football team. Up front, I don't know that you'd say that we got any tremendous individuals, but we've got a couple guys up there that are phenomenal. High motor guys. We've got a couple guys, Ryan Sivitz, Zach Beach, Will Harvey. Those guys play tremendously hard, and they are guys that are difficult to block and are difficult to keep blocked. And so those guys are going to have to give us a lot of help up front, and both pressuring the quarterback and helping stop the run. But I think defensively, I think we will be a much improved defense. Last year, I remember sharing with the defensive guys after a couple games, we had several guys a little bit disappointed because we weren't getting turnovers. As the year went on, our defense started to gain more and more turnovers, and I think we will be a defense that does create scoring opportunities, both from the defensive side as well as with the turnovers that they create. Offensively, I'm very excited about the things of where we're at. If you take a look at it, last year we had a couple different quarterbacks played. Jason Hoffman is a returning starter for us. Jason had a very good spring. He is an improved individual. Quite honestly, coming out of spring ball, though, he's kind of our close third situation for us right now. Top two quarterbacks coming out of spring are two young men. One of them, again, Eric Kaiser, another transfer from the University of Nebraska-Kearney, started several games for Kearney in the MIAA last year before getting hurt. He was an outstanding athlete. Good quarterback, and so Eric will be competing for that spot, as well as Kyle Duran. Kyle is a freshman that we redshirted last year out of Basha High School in Arizona. Has had a tremendous high school career. Last year did a very good job of kind of picking up our offense, and so I think that you'll see, number one, I think you'll see much greater play out of our quarterback position this year than what we had last year. Running back, I think, is probably the deepest position that we have and the best position we have on the field. The young man that's here today, Jake Chimolino, one of the finest running backs I've had the chance to coach in 35 years of coaching. He is tough, he is hard-nosed, he is elusive, and he is a young man that competes with his heart and with his mind. And last year there were a lot of times he made a lot of stuff out of nothing. Quite honestly, Jake will be a tremendous leader for us as a running back, as well as even a leader off the field for our team and things. So as we get going, I think that's going to be a great area for us. We have another young man that's transferring again from the University of Nebraska-Kearney, Ricky Trinidad. Ricky had over 1,000 yards last year in just basically in about 7.5 games in the MIAA. And so he is an extremely explosive individual. He'll give us some depth there. He's also a guy that will play at some slot receiver. He's a guy that will move around. So I think we're going to have some tremendous talent in the backfield. We have a young man that redshirted last year, Jaron Dennis. Many of you will remember, led the 5A in Colorado in rushing a couple years ago. Jaron continues to get better. And so we'll have a couple other guys there. Another young man that will play both receiver and some in the backfield. Another transfer out of Nebraska-Kearney. There's kind of a little bit of a connection there on that, which was good for me. Daniel Rankin. Daniel had a great spring for us, both as a running back and also as a receiver. So we're going to have some players in the backfield that honestly have never had that kind of depth. And so we're going to be utilizing them, and we're going to try to keep guys fresh and try to keep the pace of the game picked up. At the receivers, we've got several guys that are returning. Nate Neville was a starter for us last year. Austin Rodriguez and DJ Hubbard all started at our wide receivers. They are all returning there. We got a couple other guys that will give us a little bit of depth there. Ian Jude and Stephen Lindquist both transferred in out of Phoenix Community College. They're going to give us some help, as well as a couple other guys that got a little bit of playing time last year that we expect to have even a higher standard of play from our wide receivers. Offensively, the area that we're probably the least deep in is certainly in the offensive line. And so, obviously as a coach, that's one of the things that you're concerned about is trying to keep guys healthy. Really, we've got a couple guys that are returning up front that are going to be really solid for us in Brett Boyer and in Nick Leonard. And then some of the others around won't have a whole lot of game time. But honestly, they had a great spring. We got some guys that are picking the things up. And I think that for them, they understand our scheme. They understand the challenges that we face. And it's going to be a standpoint of how we respond. But more than anything, just like I shared, I think our success is going to be based upon the leadership that comes from within the team, and throughout the entire off season, in the spring, and even in the summer. Like I said, we have 4 gentlemen that are here right now that you'll get a chance to visit with later that I think do a tremendous job for us, and they reach out to others, and they're starting to bring everybody else along, and the expectation of this football team is totally different than what it was a year ago. Any questions? Thank you. Oh.
Seems like it must have been a lot of fun for you last year to have your son on your coaching staff.
You know what? It is a true blessing. As a father, anytime you have a chance, whether it's in Little League or growing up, anytime that you have a chance to coach your sons and daughters, it's a great experience. And then when you have a chance to coach with them, trust me, that's something I truly treasure. I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate in that area. And obviously, where he got into coaching, my other son got into coaching. There's been some pretty good experiences that they've experienced along the years, and that truly is one of the things that as a coach and a family, we're blessed because the players that we have coached, including the players we now have, the impact that they have on our family is a major part. And so it's great to have Ben coaching with us, and we're looking forward to it. We did move him over from the defensive side where he's going to be coaching over on the offensive side now, and so he'll get a little more direct connection with Dad as well. So, other questions? Thank you.